quick mid-year summary of where we are with the fire department and our operations and so forth. I want to look at some of the data that we have to present to you tonight. I'm glad to say that our call volume, though it's still high, is a little less than what it has been in recent years. As you can see on the data there, the number of fires we've had 25 structure fires so far in the city. When I say structure fires, we've had many other fires inside of structures, but when we have contents in the structure itself burning, that's usually what we define as a true structure fire. You can see through there vehicle, brush, rubbish, outside storage, and other types of fires. The vast majority of our incidents, as it has been in several years, is rescue and medical assist. So far this year, as of the end of June, we've made 729 runs. Hazardous conditions, which does not include fire. Hazardous conditions is things such as fuel leaks, reported incidents where there may be some kind of hazardous material involved, but not exclusively hazardous material. So under the National Fire Incident Reporting System, all those come under that heading there. Miscellaneous calls and false alarms and so forth. I'm also glad to say that so far this year, knock on wood, we have had a smaller dollar amount due to fire loss this year than we have in previous years. You can see there, year to date, we've had only had a total dollar loss of $702,000. Sometime last year, about this time of the year, we had well in excess of $1 million, approaching $1.5 million to $2 million. And that's partly because we've been fortunate that we have not had any major industrial fires so far this year that has drove that dollar loss up. Under training, our department over the past 6-7 years has more than doubled in the hours of training and the scope of training. And you can see there the members of the department have had, we've logged over 10,000 hours of training so far this year. You can see there the broad headings of the types of training that we do. Of course, the fire suppression, we do EMT and paramedic training and refresher, vehicle extrication and industrial rescue, rope rescue, and here recently we also conducted water rescue that we've been doing now for the past 2 or 3 years. We've had an increased number of emergency rescue calls due to flooding and so forth inside the city. Also, you can see there we've also logged a number of hours in physical fitness. Every shift, every day, every firefighter is given the opportunity to log in at least 1.5 hours, 2 hours of training on their own. I'll expand on that topic just here in just a moment, something we're working on later in this year. Under fire prevention, what we call the 3 E's, education, enforcement, and engineering. You can see that we've logged a number of hours under fire inspections, public education, investigating fire incidents. We also do the plans check and inspect fire protection systems, those being things like sprinkler systems, standpipe systems, fire alarm systems, and so forth. Also, we work in concert with the building official to do a plans review on all new construction to ensure the building code and the fire code are in compliant. Burn permits. So far, we've logged over 1,800 burn permits this year. Most of those being residential burn permits that we're most familiar with. We also issue commercial burn permits if there's a large development where it needs to be cleared of debris and rubbish and so forth. We also issue permits for those as well. And then we've inspected the actual number there under fire hydrants is supposed to be over 1,000. It shows 882, but it's really actually over 1,000 fire hydrants have been inspected so far this year. As part of our fire insurance rating, we inspect fire hydrants, every fire hydrant in the city of Russellville twice a year. We do it in the spring, we do it in the fall. The fire companies go out in their fire management areas and they inspect those hydrants. If you look on the the right, that is our staffing, shift staffing per shift. We have budgeted 17 positions per shift. We have a minimum staffing of 14. That maintains 3 firefighters for each engine company in the 4 stations in the city, a battalion chief, and a driver for the aerial truck. If we have more than 14, the aerial truck is staffed up with 2 or 3 additional firefighters. That's just per shift. And then we have 6 uniform staff positions that work days, a total staffing of 56 uniform personnel, 1 civilian. On the left of that, there was some bullets about the budget. So far, our budget is within what we anticipate every year this time of year. As always, it's almost every year some of our challenges are overtime costs due to unforeseen long-term illness or injuries, usually non-duty related, and then also the increased cost of maintaining fire apparatus. Though we have a fairly new fleet, about 1/3 of our fleet is less than 5 years old. That remaining fleet, staff cars as well as heavy apparatus, it's just very costly. It's very technical type of equipment that we have to maintain. This is a kind of a quick glimpse at our budget. Everything is in line. We do have some shortfalls under civil service, and that was because we had an unanticipated increase in the number of people wanting to take the test for promotion this year. Average about 10 a year. This year it was double that. Some of the things we're currently working on and we will be working on later this year. Our fire insurance rating, we're Class 3 city. That's about average for a city of our size in the southern United States. The last time they were here, you may recall, was in 2012. Since then, they've revised the grading schedule. That is the document that they use to apply to municipalities to evaluate fire protection. We are currently looking at that revised schedule and identifying those areas that we need to strengthen up on in the coming years in anticipation for the next review by ISO. They're back up to strength now. For about 20-25 years, they were not scheduled to survey a city our size, but every 10 to 15 years, they're now back to 3 years. So we can anticipate them in the next 2 or 3 years to be back in our community. We will, shortly be reviewing our current rules and regulations and our standard operating procedures. It's been some years since we've really gone through and purged those regulations, and that will be happening later this summer. Another thing that we're looking at that we haven't done yet this year, but we would anticipate, is review the current written agreement between City Corporation and the Fire Department in terms of the placement of fire hydrants and fire flow requirements, water main sizes and flows and pressures and so forth. The last time it was revised was in 2006. It's about a 25-year document, but it's been that long since we've reviewed and updated. I mentioned physical fitness earlier. It's a really important topic to us, me in particular. We are in the process of reviewing some national guidelines and standards and probably going to be expanding and improving our fitness program for our firefighters. The number one killer of firefighters in the line of duty is no longer burning buildings and things, but it's dying of heart attack and stroke and that sort of thing. We have completed revising the fire service annex section of the Polk County Emergency Operations Plan. That plan has a number of tabs, if you will, or annexes. Fire service and hazardous material are the two that my department's responsible for. We've recently reviewed and revised that annex to meet today's needs. I mentioned last year that as part of our insurance review, fire insurance review, we need to do a comprehensive review of our conflagration district, our fire district, or better known as the downtown district. Those properties that are adjoining each other, they're attached, those are high potential for conflagration. We are in the process of taking block by block and going through those locations to assess what our needs are and how we would operate in case of an emergency, fire type emergency in the district. In concert with that, we are getting ready to launch a citywide pre-fire plan program. Again, it's part of our fire insurance rating review, and that will be hopefully launched here again before the end of the summer. And we're also currently on the drawing board, though it's a number of years out. We are on the drawing board right now to start to line up and draw up the specifications for the next generation of pumper apparatus. The goal is to cut the cost of those down by a third or half of what the current trend is. Current pumper apparatus is around $350,000 to $450,000, and it's my goal to try to use new technologies, new concepts, and try to get that cost way down so we can have a more reliable fleet in the future. Mayor, members of the council, that's all I have. I'll entertain any questions if you have any.
Anyone?
Thank you, Chief Cochran. Good report.